normal living condition, then we have to make sure that the immunity of our systems are super high, super high. That is the only way we can avoid the vaccines and the vaccination crises that we have around. Basically, for today, I only want to talk on how to boost our immunity so that we can combat the vaccination crisis. There's much more that we can earn by going the other way around, being vaccinated, so that we can fight against immunity. The antigen antibody reaction in our systems should be left to be natural the way they are. Remember, anything you look around, anything you see around, any vegetation you see around, any fruit you see around is capable of producing phytochemicals which are so necessary for building inside our body superb warfare weapons in our own systems, boosting our own white cells to fight against such infections, such diseases. And that is why we basically need to be more of natural medication than conventional medication. If I had time, I would have told you a little history of how our natural medication system was counterattacked by the devil through some guys years back, but because that is not our basic concern, I would just love to fix my attention in boosting our immunity than the vaccines, because the vaccine topic is so large and vast, so large and vast. And the way I had been programmed before I chipped in was basically to tell us more of how to boost our immunity rather than going the vaccine way. And those are some of the things which basically I want to talk about, how we need to boost our immunity. The first thing I want to talk about is about the liver flush method. The liver flush method, because the liver is one of the organs in our system which aids us to remove toxins out of the body. Remember, one of the functions of the liver we have is deamination. Deamination. Removal of amines in our system, removals of excess proteins in our system, which the body will detect them to be poisonous in the system. The amino acids, the unwanted amines in the system are to be removed out through the amination process. They are detoxified out of the system so that they may not be of harm into the system. So the liver plays a very vital role in our systems. And basically, when you look at these individuals who have degenerative diseases, leave alone the acute diseases, these guys who have degenerative diseases, you will understand that they have a lot of problems to do with their livers, their kidneys, and their kidneys, the integumentary system, that is the skin, and the way the skin removes out poison from the skin, and then the kidney has a whole unit. The kidney has a whole unit when it comes to removal of excess products in the system which are not necessary, should also be considered. But the greatest of all is, one, to consider the condition of the liver, because when you really want to remove poison out of the system, then the condition of the liver should be critically ascertained. Now, in order for us to boost our immunity, the first thing we need to do is to make sure that the functions of the liver is perfect. That is why I want to give you a combination of a remedy, a combination of several remedies called the liver flush remedy, which is used to aid the liver to remove out poison from the system. Its main work is to assist the liver to remove more of the poison out of the system than to overtax the liver. When you overtax the liver, there will be problem with the liver growth, like liver enlargement. There will be more of an enlargement of the liver, because the liver reaches a crisis limit with which it cannot remove more the poison out of the system. So we really need to aid the liver to remove more of the poison out of the system using the liver flush method. Now, these are what are contained in the liver flush drink. One, we have olive oil. We have olive oil, which you add two tablespoons of olive oil, and then we have 1 lemon, and then we have 2 cloves of garlic, and then we have a pinch of cayenne powder. I've said you have 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 cloves of garlic, lemon, a pinch of cayenne. Then you blend them perfectly well. After blending them perfectly well, you add olive oil, the 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You also blend them perfectly well so that they have one compact common layer. This is so good to aid the system or to aid the liver to flush off any toxin or any toxics within the system. And this also works well with those people who have gallstones and kidney stones. The individuals who have gallstones and kidney stones, when you use the liver flush drink, it will help the system to remove or to eliminate the stones out of the system. And when you clearly do it for 7 good days, you will realize at one point in time when you will go out for a call, the call of nature, you will see them, you will see the particles, the green-yellow particles, the green-yellow stones in your discharge. You will literally see them in that discharge when you use the liver flush method. And another way we can help the body or the system to boost the immunity, we can use the lemon fast method, with which we will take a maximum of 10 days using the lemon drink or the citrus family drink. In the citrus family drink, we can have the lemon, we can have the grapefruit, we can have, I don't know, these others are called what, but we have the family of the citrus family. The lemons and the grapefruit, they are all there, the citrus family. So for the citrus family, you can organize yourself to have a 10 days fasting program through the use of the fruits. Instead of taking the vegetables, instead of taking things which are heavy, you can decide to do a fruit fast while you incorporate bits of carbs so that you may have more energy, which will steer you throughout the week, or throughout the cleansing program. And we can use the lemon. So when we're using this lemon, we need to be using the sequence of 2. The sequence of 2, that is to say that in day 1, you put 2 lemons in a glass of water, 2 lemons, you squeeze 2 lemons in a glass of water, room temperature water or mild temperature. That is for your first day. The second day, you multiply the first 2 by 2, you will get 4. The third day, you multiply the 2 by 3, you will get 6. The fourth day, you will get 8. The fifth day, you will get 10. And then on the 6th day, you don't move to 12, but you maintain your 10. And then you come down. It's a climb and a slope treatment module or treatment plan, where you first use 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then after reaching the maximum of 10, you now move down 8, 6, 4, up to 2. And you realize that when you do that, what we are basically trying to do is to alkalize the blood. The potential hydrogen in the system should be alkalized. When the potential hydrogen in this, the potential hydrogen rate in the system is very low, then it means that the body is tending towards acid, or the body is becoming more of acidic than basic. And our body should be more of alkaline than acid, because when the body is more acidic, then a lot of bacteria will be so happy and they will literally rejoice to stay in an acidic blood, because they thrive perfectly well in an acidic blood. But when you have an alkaline blood, then your body will be off. Viruses will be off. Bacterial infections will be off. Fungal infections, and name them. You will be very perfect and things within you will be perfectly well. I don't know if someone has a question before I proceed.
Any question? You can put up your hand so that we have some order. Okay, Ma'am Sifir, please go ahead.
Okay. In these 10 days, do you only take lemons? You don't mix it with water. You don't take anything else. You just drink your lemons in the morning every day to alkalize the blood.
Okay. Basically, when you're using the lemon drink, I haven't said that you only use lemon alone, but have called it the fruit fast. You can inculcate most of the fruits. You know, a man will still live when you take fruits. Just
let me help you there a little. Let me correct something a little. A lemon would be very strong for the body. Make it a little flexible and nice for the body to receive diluted lemon if you're using a lemon for such a case. But using a lemon, please dilute it. There are people who are using that, and I don't object it. I don't say anything on it, but I'm just saying that if you're going to use lemon for this case, please dilute it. Undiluted lemons, you can see how they corrode the teeth, or they numb the teeth. That's a form of telling you that it's highly corrosive. So as corrosive as it is, do dilute it and then use it. Dilute it. That would still achieve the objective and be friendlier to the system.
Yes, I believe, Moms, if you are okay.
Yes, thank you for more information, Jim. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Juma.
Welcome. So the very
How is South Africa?
It's full of coronavirus.
Oh, yet another one is coming from China.
The movement is very limited.
I know.
Yes.
Another corona is coming from China. But anyway, let Michael continue. We'll talk with you later.
Sure.
Say hi to everyone.
Brother Michael, there is another question from...
Yes, please.
From Armenge. It's asking, what about someone who is breastfeeding 6 months and has ulcers? Can one use the liver detox method?
Basically, the immunity of the child depends with the mother. The immunity of the child depends with the mother. Any natural thing which God gave will never interfere with a human being's body. They are all at par with our systems. And that is why God clearly designed them for our own intake. So if someone is breastfeeding or anything taking place, now the immunity of the child should be boosted through the dietary intake of the mother. The immunity of the child depends 100% on the dietary formula of the mother. So that one means if the mother wants to make the child more okay or in health, then she has to take the liver flash, drink, and in the process of breastfeeding the child, the phytochemicals which will be attained by the mother from the liver flash drink will be taken into the bloodstream, which further will aid in the conversion of the phytochemicals and the vital chemicals which are needed for the infant, further converted into milk, and the child will basically be feeding from the mother's immunity.
Let me say something here. I understood the question well. Did you ask if somebody who has ulcers, or lactating mother who has ulcers, can use the same process or the same procedure of the detox, liver detox? Is that the question? Let me ask. Yes, can you repeat the question?
The question was, what about someone who is feeding 6 months and has ulcers? Can one use the liver detox method?
Let me say something little about it. When somebody is doing a detox is slightly different from somebody who has ulcers. Ulcers is different. Ulcers is just the tissue that is being burned. When you have lactic acid that is burning the tissue, lactic acid that is burning the tissue, and the lactic acid is it could be lactic acid, it could be alcohol, it could be ethyl, methyl, it could be any form of alcohol that would be in the system that would be burning. It could be from a leftover, it could be from fermented milk, or it could be from anything that is fermented that may be taken inside. It will be burning the inner tissue, the inner lining of the digestive tract, which has completely nothing to do with the liver. The liver stores chemicals or stores anything that is intoxicant, stores in the system. So when somebody says that I have ulcers, it means they have wounds. They have wounds. So this wound can easily be diluted. I mean, the alcohol or the acid that is in the stomach can be diluted or can be neutralized by taking alkalides, yes. But you look at it from the fact that you want to dilute something that is inside the stomach. And when you have something that is inside the stomach, you treat the wound that is inside the stomach. Totally different. The system can work, but the way we treat ulcers is just neutralizing inside the stomach and then treating the wound inside, which usually goes by 2 cloves of garlic and 1 onion. You dilute it. When you dilute it, it neutralizes faster. You dilute it, and then you take the protocol, and then you drink water. By drinking plenty of water, you just neutralize the acidity, and it goes. It can be that quick. The liver is a storage, so it may need a detoxification of the deeper tissue, which is the liver. So that is a little complicated and may need more strenuous processes in detoxification.
Thank you so much, Jim, for that clarification. There's another question from Kathian. She's asking, if you're avoiding vaccination in children, how can you boost their immunity?
Oh, that's a nice question. The underlying principle is the same. The underlying principle is the same. Give them that which is right to eat, and their immunity will be perfectly boosted. A question comes, did our fathers of old use vaccinations? That is a question you should be asking yourself. Did our fathers of old use vaccinations? They didn't. Reason? God already in his wisdom and knowledge had impacted in his own food phytochemicals which are necessary to boost our own immunities. There is nothing in nature which defiles our immunity. Instead, everything which is good to eat for our own consumption, things which are right, which were made by God, will clearly boost our immunity. There's nothing to wonder about it. There's nothing to worry about it. You are capable of boosting your child's immunity by giving your child food which is right, food which only God gave. Thank you.
Okay, let me also give something. The question is asking the boosting if you decide not to take the vaccine system, yes, you can boost your immune system. Infants, an infant that is breastfeeding from the mother should be able to, they don't need vaccine. I mean, that is a general view that you get from World Health Organization, that if a baby is exclusively the mother, the immune system is up. And now, to boost the mother's immune system to give the lactation power, number one is change your lifestyle, change your eating pattern to plants. The plants will give you immune boosters of different kinds. The plants themselves will give you a lot of immune boosters, which the animal products will not give you at all. And to go straight into the plant boosters, anybody who has the protocol, if you go through the protocol for 21 days only, your immune system will have been boosted tenfold. Just 21 days of the protocol. The protocol has been tested, and has been proven that it works. 21 days, you can boost your immune system. If you take a variety of the foods, especially if you take the green leafy vegetables that are natural, either you find them natural or you find them local or traditional. Things like osuga, for those who understand that language, things like osuga or managu, things like dek or saga, or the natural vegetables that you find that you can take from the wild are very good immune boosters. And number two, if you take tomatoes and onions, just the way they are, they help neutralize the acidity and also help boost the immune system. With garlic, if you have garlic and onion, they help boost the immune system. And the other thing that you can also do is hydrotherapy has been known to really boost the immune system. If there's any outbreak that people have for any ailment, what you can do, you can get a bathtub. If you have a bathtub, blessed you. If you don't have a bathtub, you can improvise something like a bathtub. You can even use plastic. You can do plastic. You can dig down. You can go outside and dig down something like like a bathtub, and you put plastic in it. And the best is 5 minutes to water, as hot as hydro hot, not warm, but hydro hot. That really knows how to boost the immune system. If you're doing hot foot bath, if you're doing the hot foot bath, then you need to do hot foot bath for not less than 30 minutes, 45 minutes to 1 hour. That's a very good boost.
Elder Juma, are you there? Okay, I think Elder network is unstable, but I believe the question has been answered already. So when he comes back,
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you.
Yes.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, the other one, I think the other one is cut off. Relative Asia. So I was saying one of the ways to boost the immune system is hydrotherapy. If you have hot foot bath, do it for more than 30 minutes. If you do it for more than 30 minutes, you'll get up to 300% of the production of the white blood cells. If you do that, it means the production of the white cells will be more multiplied in the leg area, or the feet area. But if you do bathtub, it means the whole body would be involved in that production at the same time when you have direct contact with hot water. Many people have used that during this Corona time, and they've received very, very, very good improved systems and recovery, very quick recovery.
Yes, thank you so much for that information. We have two more questions to go, then I'll hand over to Dr. Dorcas because she was supposed to be the coordinator of the day. Sister Soliswa is asking, you mentioned citrus family. Should one use one citrus fruit or interchangeably?
Yeah, basically I talked just an example of a citrus fruit. You know, we have a lot of citrus fruits, but basically the one which is common to all is the lemon fruit, which I know is common to everyone. It's common to everyone. So you'd rather use lemon, which is so easy to get, than to move to another one. For example, when you look at the grapefruit is so expensive. It's so expensive and it's hard to get. So you'd rather use lemon, which is next to us, than move to a more expensive one.
I think the question is asking, do you have to combine or you use one at a time?
No, you need to use one at a time. You need to use one at a time. You don't combine the citrus or the lemon with any other fruit when you're using it to boost the immunity. You don't need to combine it with any other. The only thing you need to do is to dilute it. You dilute its concentration. And the way I say it is that you have to use it for 10 days, wherewith the first day you use 2, the next day you use 4, the next one you use 6, the next one you use 4, use 8, you use 10, then 8, then 6, then 4, then 2. That is 10 days, completely 10 days. But you have to make sure that you are diluting it so that it doesn't burn or it doesn't cause any harm in your system.
Okay, thank you. The next question reads
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Before we pass there, that's another way that you can do that thing. If you want to make it lighter in the system to detoxify, you can also just use diluted lemon for the time that you're giving. Maybe even if you just don't give it like up to 10 days, you do up to 10 or 16 or how many you do. I just want to mention that you can still detoxify yourself without highly concentrating the lemon. You can still detoxify yourself without doing that. Another very good way of detoxifying without taxing the system is by making your body sweat so much. You can do steam baths. You can have Russian steam bath. You can have Egyptian steam bath. You can have the African steam bath. You can have the American steam bath. You can have different steam baths. If you go to Scandinavian countries, the steam bath, their kind of steam bath is a sauna. Every house has a sauna. And if you use the sauna, if you be in the sauna for maybe 30 minutes to 1 hour in the sauna, I'm telling you, you'll have sweated like you've never imagined. And sweating is one form of detoxifying that the body is actually familiar with. The body is very much familiar with sweating than highly concentrated lemons. I'm not saying, I'm not negating what you've said, Michael, but I'm just saying that there are other better ways that you can do to detoxify without taxing the system. Because you can imagine when somebody is taking lemons, 10 lemons, you've just taken highly concentrated 10 lemons. It's not very friendly to the system, but it can do the job. The other one, if you go to Sweden, they don't just do the sauna, but they do the jacuzzi. They have a jacuzzi. Jacuzzi is another way of detoxifying. You sit in hot, bubblish water that is rising so that it bubbles up like this in a bathtub, a jacuzzi. They use a jacuzzi. If you go to America, or if you go to the Western countries now in the US or so, you'll find them using a bathtub. Every house must have a bathtub. It's a requirement that they must have a bathtub. They must have hot and cold shower. So in the shower system, there has to be hot water. Every house must have a hot water. Every house must have a bathtub. If you go to Europe, I mean, if you go to Scandinavian countries, a bathtub may not be a necessity, but a jacuzzi may be a necessity, or a sauna may be a necessity. If you go to Russia, you have Russian steam bath where your head is outside the building or outside the cabin, and they seal off your neck with towels so that only the other part of the body could be steamed high, but your head is remaining outside. If you go to the African steam bath, the whole head is covered so that you steam with the whole head covered in there in a blanket, either blanket or duvet or a quilt or something like that. And at the end of it, you'll have sweated so much. If you take what you take for herbal tea, anything that you take for herbal tea, for those who already know herbal tea, you take all that you know for herbal tea, including eucalyptus. You can take also eucalyptus. You can also take peppermint, and you put in the water that is boiling, and you cover yourself and you steam yourself in there. You'll be sweating so much, yet this herb would be breathing into your system to pull out any of the toxins that are in there. You'll realize that you'll have detoxified a lot.
Thank you so much. The next question from Sarah Ochieng is asking, for how long should a mother breastfeed before introducing any food to boost the baby's immunity? Sorry.
I think that one will be tackled with Mom Dorcas. When she comes in, she will tell us more about the lactation whatsoever, when the child should be breastfed and all that. And but in the same time, you should understand why also God gave children milk teeth. I don't know why they are called milk teeth anyway. And when they begin feeding off the system, I don't know at which age do milk teeth begin feeding so that another new set of teeth begins. There's a reason why they're also called milk teeth. But I believe Mom Dorcas will take us through that when it comes in, please.
Thank you so much.
I'm not Mom Dorcas. Molly, I'm not Mom Dorcas, but I think I've lived long enough to see a few things that I can mention before she comes in.
Yes, please.
Now listen. a baby, when a baby is born, is just like when an animal is born. When an animal is born, you can look from the cows. Then when an animal is born, you do not force them to start eating. You don't force animals to start eating. Even cats, you don't force them to start eating. You know, you will be seeing when the body demands it, and then the child is able to put it in the mouth, you first let them play with it. Let them play with it, because the body, the mind would be directing the child to whatsoever the child needs to take. And when you see that the child is pulling things and putting in the mouth, then you would know that this time, this is now the right time that you let the child force them to feed exclusively. When you see the signs foretell. It's not for you to start forcing them. Sometimes we start forcing the children to take solid foods when their system is not ready for it. Or sometimes we wait too long and we deny them when the body feels like, now I need to be grabbing it much. If you do not follow this pattern as a mother, you will see that the child might start biting you, you know, before you start giving something, because the mouth will feel like they want to chew, they want to masticate. The brain develops mastication, the brain develops chewing, the brain develops eating by itself. And then when you see that the teeth are beginning to come up, then the body is telling the mouth that it's time for you to start biting these things. It's time for you to start chewing. You can start by giving them, you know, like mobile food or ground food or something soft that they can put in the mouth, and it just rolls down. But it comes naturally that you observe. As a mother, it's for you to observe to see that the child is developing an attitude of pulling anything and putting in the mouth to start feeding. Any solid food, when it starts coming in, then it means you will also have to start introducing water. These ones come concurrently because the milk has both, has the solid part and it has the water part or the liquid part. It comes combined. So during that time, may not be necessary for you to give water to the baby. But when the baby begins to take external food that now comes with a human combination, then drinking water also comes with it.
Okay, before we go to our next question, allow me welcome Dr. Dorcas because time is really running. Dr. Dorcas, are you there?
Give us a minute, she's coming. I think she's coming, she's coming. So okay. while waiting for Dorcas to come in, I also just want to mention something on milk for both the babies and the adults. I had when Michael mentioned something on male teeth. You know, the teeth are as a result of the formulas that are released by the brain for digesting the food. Digestion of the food begins in the mouth. It begins by crushing the food or masticating the food or chewing the food. That is part of the process of digestion or part of the process of you know, pulling the food into the system. So when you see that the teeth are coming up, when it's called male teeth, it simply means that you are able to suck, or the baby is able to suck the milk and also eat solid foods. When the body now derives to the place or the case where they just want to feed on solid foods, the milk teeth are removed, or the body starts removing or pulling out the milk teeth, to the extent that you will be without any male teeth. When you be without any male teeth, it simply means the brain has stopped from digesting that milk. So when it stops from digesting that milk, you're weaned from it, and the body will loathe the milk. So that your system, whenever it sees the breast, it sees any breast of any kind, it will loathe it. It will simply go like, oh, yuck, I don't want to see this. That is when you know that somebody's weaned. Otherwise, the baby or the child can breastfeed as long as, you know, the system is still there, or the formula is still there, as long as the milk teeth are still there with the child. But the moment all is gone, your system, you become lactose intolerant. I think here is Mom Dorcas.
Okay. Hello? Yes. There's a question for me? Or a comment?
There was a question, but I think it has already been answered. And I just want to welcome you to continue because we have like 20 minutes to go.
Okay. Now I had stepped out. So where had they reached? So I know where to continue from.
We have talked about boosting immunity. And yes, I think basically that's what we have discussed so far.
Okay. So anyway, today's topic was basically on vaccines and so basically boosting immune system for vaccines. Now, vaccine actually is the wrong term. It's for immunity. Yes, because vaccine is actually the artificial substance that is added. It actually comes from the word vaca. Yes, vaca from a French word that means cow, because the history of vaccines comes from the use of smallpox, actually cowpox. Yeah, those ones who have learned about the history of vaccines come from cowpox. So what used to happen, they used to take the pustules from someone who has cowpox, and then now they inject it. That's why it's called vaccination. The history is actually from cows, from cow pus. Yeah? But anyway, so the premise is to boost immunity, yeah, by introducing whatever it is in a small dose, and then at least your body is trained to fight. Now, the body's innate system is already built to fight, especially if it was well primed at the young age. One of the best time to train immunity is when the child body is bombarded. I mean, the even modern things are bombarding the children under 5, because it's under 5 that children train their immune system to be able to identify self. Yes, and that's all they're trained to do. Just like God, he tells you about the truth. So if you know the truth, then if there's a lie, then it's easy to detect the lie. But if you take time teaching about the lie, there'll be so many lies, you'll get confused. But if you know the truth, anything that is false will easily be detected. That's what the body does. So when the children are younger, that's when the immune system is being built. That's why things like even giving them the right foods, breastfeeding exclusively, those are important, because they ensure that the environment enables the truth to be learned. Yeah, the body can be able to detect what self is. So when self is detected, so whatever is not self, whenever it comes in, it's easy to be able to fight it off. So key in building immunity is, if for those who still have young children, focus at that age. Yes, and since it's a female, that somebody else, yeah. But the formative years, the first, at least even the world now is talking about first 6 months, exclusive breastfeeding. It is possible. Invest in it. It will help a lot in helping the immune cells to be able to learn self without being bombarded by externals that confuse the system. So if the body has a good, strong system from when they're young, realize that actually helps later on in future. Yeah. Now, another thing that we know is that breast milk itself is one of the greatest sort of vaccine per se, because it's not artificial, but it's the best way to give passive immunity, to give immunity to the system. And today we're just talking about the way, even when a child is in distress, yeah, the mother produces milk, even if she's far from the child, yeah, and of breast milk is actually to pass on immunity to the child. So one way of helping, and we see that even in the current pandemic, that children are less affected. One way of boosting the immunity of the child is still continuing breastfeeding. Because whenever a child is sick, as soon as they suckle and the mother detects that they have certain foreigners, by the time they suckle the next time, the mother will already have produced the antibodies against that particular pathogen or that particular invader at that particular time. So that's how fast. If you can talk about that, doing vaccine trials, the body system, the moment the saliva from the child gets into the mother when they are breastfeeding, by the next suckling, they already have antibodies. So they already have some way to help to fight whatever is affecting them. So you might find that a child who's being breastfed will overcome a disease. So breastfeeding, who's under 5, or even older if you want, but any child who's vulnerable, yes. And it's even been found that like there's something called tandem nursing. Yeah, you might have a child who's younger, we may have a second child and the first one is still under 5. It also helps the one who's older, because in fact they've realized that if you continue breastfeeding both, you get a new child and you continue breastfeeding the other one, this other one seems to get a booster because the milk that is produced favors the younger one. And the milk that is for the younger one has even more defense forces than the one for the older one because they're more vulnerable. So it helps a lot. So the body system has a way, especially for the vulnerable group, to just give the right ammunition. And so it just helps, especially talking to daughters of God, helps us to know that breastfeeding is a serious investment and it should be encouraged, it should be supported in all forms because it has a whole host of benefits to the child. Now, for the older people, you've heard different things that have been said about detoxing the liver so the liver can work better. Things like hydrotherapy. Always. Yeah. Hydrotherapy has physiological effects and that's why even Ellen White says it's heaven-sent blessing. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what the pathogen is. Yes. It doesn't matter what new thing has come. Yes, or will come. The body, especially, and more so if in the formative areas, it was well sorted, the foundation was strong. Whatever comes, the body will detect it as alien. Yes, so it will reorganize itself and be able to fight back. Yes, as fast as those things are mutating and new ones coming, is the same rate. Yeah, if I can use the example I talked about, even breast milk. Yeah, producing antibodies immediately those things come. It's the same rate the intelligence system in our bodies can be able to fight back, but as long as we keep it strong. So hydrotherapy is one good way of doing that. And of course, the foods that we eat, things that diminish our body's capacity to fight back include things like sugar. So when someone is sick, sugar, even the ones that you think are fine, just get off them. Yeah, take more bland things, take more a vegetable, because sweet germs and because if there's a lot of sweet, the germs because they don't have a digestive system, they thrive more in that because they'll just absorb it. So don't give the sweets, even if it's honey, even if it's jaggery. At that particular time, even if it's a porridge, take the porridge without sugar, without a sweetener, even if it's a positive sweetener. So that helps a lot to give more force to your immune system and reduce the function of the pathogen. Now, most pathogens are mesophilic. They like warm. Yes, that's why even when you're sterilizing things or when you're pasteurizing things, you give high heat. So heat that goes towards fever supports the body system to build more white blood cells, to open up the highway of the system, which is a blood vessel, so that the white blood cells can travel better to wherever they are needed. And at the same time, they inhibit, or rather they kill the offenders. So those are the principles. Once you have them in your mind, whatever it is that is hitting, now just work your body to be able for its intelligence to counteract as soon as possible. And if you understand that, that's the best. There are things about New Start, of course, fresh air. Most pathogens like anaerobic conditions. They like hidden places, dark and little oxygen. So being out Where there's lots of air, oxygen will oxidize them. Yes, and so that will inhibit growth of, or if of an infective agent, whatever it is. Yes, whether it's bacteria, whether it's fungi, whether it's viral. So in as much as, and you see that also in Spirit of Prophecy, in as much as most people when they're sick, they want to sit inside indoors and sleep because they're tired anyway, but spend much time outside so you can get the fresh air and the sun, because again, the sun hits most pathogens, it breaks them down. And so those are the simple elements that God has given us to help us to fight back. Of course, as you can see, I'm going through New Start also, yeah? So rest, very important, because there's a certain time when the body keys in on repair. So maximize on the time that the body has set for repair so that you can be able to give your body more strength to be able to fight back. So they're simple things. God has very simple solutions. And if you learn those principles, whatever comes, you know that God has given us ways. So we follow them, and the body has the ability to mount intelligence forces that can counteract whatever is coming, as long as we know what to do. A lot of times the problem is we don't know what to do, or we're doing the wrong thing. We're helping the enemy. Yeah. But if we help the body system, then as God says, we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and there's a lot of defense in our bodies. Yes. Now, I don't know if there are any questions, then Musa will have something to say also, because it was actually him supposed to be speaking, but because, as I said, because of the many questions we had where we had gone, that's what changed the initial plan. So I think I'll give Musa first, and then if there are any questions after that, then we can handle it. It's probably just tying loose ends, because I think we're basically done.
Hello. I think I mentioned a few things. Michael said a few things, but since time is done, I will want to come back again at some point, Molly, if you allow me, so that I do a full presentation on that.
Sure, we shall arrange that very soon.
Yes. Because today we were so occupied, and you saw the background. These students, we just had to run away from them, literally run and jump into the car and zoom out. But all I want to tell you is this: we've been talking about vaccination throughout all these years since we had babies. Even before, we were talking about vaccinations. But my experience during this time of Corona has really boosted my view on strengthening the immune system, with or without vaccination. You must strengthen the immune system. If you have vaccination, you still have to strengthen the immune system, because they're actually putting the toxin, the microbes in you. They're putting the disease in you. So you have to boost your immune system really well. If you're not taking the vaccine, then you have a very good reason to really boost your immune system. There's still this debate whether it needs to be taken or not. I'm not getting into that. Whether it's to be taken or not, I'm still not getting into that. I'm part of this discussion that is going on for or against it. So I still cannot say whether you should take it or you should not take it, but we tell you the benefits of boosting your immune system, so that in case something comes that you have it, you know what to do. In case you do not have it, you know what to do. That's where we are now. Our stand as that we speak is boost your immune system well, so that you can beat the disease, whatever the disease that is coming, whatever the pestilence that is coming, whatever whatever is coming, you have to boost your immune system well, so that you beat the game. Otherwise, I thank you so much. May the Lord be with you. Molly, back to you.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Elder. And before we break, I think we have like 6 minutes. We can answer questions that were posted earlier. There's a question from Sister Doris. She's asking, do we have to eat anything else apart from fruits when taking the lemon juice? Or I think that's the question.
Let me just answer that before Michael comes in. If you just do lemon juice without eating anything for all those days, it will be disaster. I don't want to wait for him to answer that. We do not encourage that. Me, as medical missionary movement, we do not encourage that because it's a highly corrosive. It's highly corrosive. If you're doing that, you can do it early in the morning or you can do it whatever time you choose. But it's all I want to mention is it's highly corrosive. Just as corrosive as when you take it like that, you feel it in your teeth. That's how corrosive it is. You'll feel it in your teeth, and your teeth will feel like not biting anything. You may not be able to bite anything for those the time that you're doing that, and then after some time, your teeth may begin to corrode. So strongly, I would encourage that if you're doing that, you can select your time that you're doing that, but you must load your stomach with other foods.
Thank you. Brother Michael, do you have anything to add or say?
I think that is the same response I've given. She had already asked it in the group, and I've told her that we need superfood for energy because you cannot just take it alone. The very way it has been explained, you need superfood for energy, and it should not go directly into the system without any food which will aid the body with energy.
Thank you. I think the question on cow milk has already been tackled by Dr. Dorcas. Unless there's any question, I would like to welcome Dr. Dorcas to wind up. But before I do that, let me welcome Brother Michael Juma to say her last comment or statement. Thank you. Welcome.
My comment is very simple. Let us abide by what God has told us to do in clarity of our own senses. We should follow the right principles of health reform, which are written in the testimonies and the Bible. Let us avoid what the world gives us. To the world, we may think that they are best, but before God, they are very inferior. Let us abide with what God teaches us. Let us abide with what we learn so that we may be perfectly whole with our own systems and how we help the system to boost more of our own immunity than depending on those other stuffs which are so harmful for the system. Otherwise, thank you.
Thank you, Brother Michael. We are really humbled to have you today, and may God bless you so much. I'd like to welcome Dr. Dorcas to wind up. I think time is up already.
Molly, just a minute. I want to add something to what Michael has said of the world. The world has a lot to offer. It's for our intelligence to know how to choose what is good and what is not good. Not everything that comes from the world is bad, but we have to be intelligent enough to know what is good and what is not good. God gives us the wisdom to be intelligent, to see what would be there that would not offend the spiritual being. I'm not going into the list of things that may be good, but I just want to mention one thing. The people who are in developed worlds, you know, places like what do you call them? Food, no, the health food stores. There are a lot of health food stores that you can find in downtowns. Like in the US, there are a lot of health food stores that they sell very good stuff. If you get in there, you'll find some very good stuff, and they promote very good stuff. You have different organizations that are not necessarily Adventist that offer very good programs. Next time we talk, I'll be mentioning some of these places here. They have very good programs. They have very good products that even Adventists don't have. So sometimes you may look at some people that they're hippies, but they have very good products. Some Indians have some very good things. Some Chinese have some very good Chinese herbals that are very good that you can use for yourself. But we must be able to choose what will be good and what might not be good in the world. Be in the world, but not necessarily everything in the world may be bad. Take an example of Daniel. Daniel, there are things that Daniel chose not to participate in. Daniel chose not to do. But there are things that Daniel was doing, and he was just, living his life like any other person who was in there. People like Nehemiah, they were living in the palaces, and they were choosing what might be good for them and what might not be good for them. If you just dump everything that everything is from the world, you may lose some good things that are in there that may be beneficial for you. So I would say that such like programs we have, programs like these ones, are there to expose and to let us know which things are good in the world that we need to use, which things are good that we need to be part of, and which things are not good that we should not be part of. Lest we be found in there, yet we dummies, we don't know what would be good.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, there's a question. Maybe Dr. Dorcas, you can handle it.
Where?
R. Menge is asking, is nebulization addressable?
Nebulization. Now, and Sophia is asking something. Now, as my husband said, let us push that to later, a list of what, because now someone, like sometimes when you say certain things are not good when you're teaching something, then they start asking you trademarks or start asking you these particular things. So we sit down sort of yes and no answer. I like answers whereby someone is given the principle behind anything. So what does nebulization entail? What is it used for? Yeah, why would you want all that? Some people have a principle behind whatever is being asked. That's the best way to tackle anything. Yes, and I think it is better than just giving off answer on the top of the cuff. Yeah, but I just want to finish because it was a topic on just building the immunity. There's a time we had a missionary, one of the participants in one of our trainings who came from a different country, and there's something he said that was profound. Christians don't know the power of the God they serve, because he had been in witchcraft before, yes, and people fear the devil more than they fear God, and yet God is one who's powerful. I'm just saying that even that translates to the things that God gives us to help us. We have a formidable immune system. We just need to do the right things for it. Yes. So a lot of times we might end up following what maybe the devil is suggesting because we don't know those principles that God has laid out. Yeah? And we think that it will help us, but yet it sinks us even farther. But now if we learn to lean on what God says, learn his principles, which are based on sanitation. Basically, they're based on sanitation. If you understand that concept, then you would have to ask any question. Is this based on sanitation, on hygienic standards, on this God system of not defiling the body? Then you'll answer your own question without even further ado, because we have a stronger person on our side, yeah, than against us, yeah. So a lot of times, the one who's against us, you use fear tactics or whatever, to make us rush into something. But understanding the principles even before the crisis comes, or even when the crisis is there already, helps us a lot to navigate through the rest of the history of this world. So just know that our systems are strongly built. So just learn how, that's why we're focusing on building the immune system. Yeah,
building the immune system. Because what will happen will continue to happen, but learn what you need to do, and we have a strong person, the captain of the host on our side. Yeah, and in fact, if you do a class on the defense system, you'll realize that. Yeah, that if you cooperate with him, then you'll find a lot of good. So let's pray as we finish this session. Our Father and our God, we want to thank you for this day, that you've been with us and for what you have learned. May it help us, yes, as we face the uncertainty in the world, and let us just know that as long as you're in control, as previously was one of our lessons, that heaven rules. Whoever rules on this earth, heaven still rules. And we see the things that matter in the world still continue. No one has stopped the sun, the star. No one has stopped the stars. No one has stopped the moon. So you're in control. And just help us focus on you and learn that if you can control the big issues that matter here, that you have our back even here on earth. We ask this as we continue to learn more from you, that we may prepare for your soon return and be able to make a better place in the meanwhile as we wait for you to come, not only for us, but for those around us. It's in Christ's name I pray and believe. Amen.
Amen.